Dialogue is one of the most powerful and versatile tools in a novelist's arsenal. It breathes life into characters, allowing readers to connect with their thoughts, emotions, and personalities in ways that narrative description alone cannot achieve. A well-crafted exchange not only drives the story forward, but also adds layers of complexity, revealing subtext and underlying tension that enrich the narrative. It's through dialogue that characters express themselves, challenge each other, and forge relationships, making the world of the novel feel dynamic and real. However, writing realistic dialogue that truly resonates with readers can be a daunting task, even for experienced writers. Poorly written dialogue risks breaking the immersion of the story, making characters seem artificial or their interactions feel forced. Awkward phrasing, overly formal language, or irrelevant conversations can pull readers out of the world you've worked so hard to create. Conversely, dialogue that feels authentic has the power to make your characters leap off the page, leaving a lasting impression on readers. These well-crafted moments of speech become memorable, drawing readers into your story's emotional core and keeping them engaged long after they've turned the final page. Mastering dialogue is not just a skill, but an art that transforms your writing into a vibrant, resonant experience for your audience. In this video, we'll explore the art of writing realistic dialogue in novels, offering practical tips, examples, and techniques to master this essential element of storytelling. Why dialogue matters. Before diving into the how-to, let's briefly examine why dialogue is so crucial in novels. 1. Character development. Dialogue reveals your characters' personalities, backgrounds, and motivations. The way they speak, their word choice, tone, and rhythm says as much about them as their actions. 2. Advancing the plot. Conversations often serve as vehicles for delivering critical information, creating conflict, or moving the story forward. 3. Engaging readers. Well-crafted dialogue captures readers' attention, making scenes dynamic and immersive. 4. Creating subtext. Often, what isn't said is as important as what is. Dialogue allows you to play with subtext and underlying meaning. Principles of realistic dialogue. Writing dialogue may seem simple at first glance, it's just characters talking, right? But creating realistic and purposeful dialogue requires finesse. Here are the key principles to keep in mind. 1. Make it sound natural, but not too natural. Real-life conversations are full of filler words, interruptions, and tangents. While you want your dialogue to sound natural, replicating real speech verbatim can make it tedious to read. Avoid unnecessary filler like or excessive small talk unless it serves a specific purpose. Example: too realistic. Hey, I was just thinking, maybe we could go to the store or something. I mean, if you're not busy or anything. Better: I was thinking we could go to the store later. What do you think? 2. Keep it concise. Less is often more when it comes to dialogue. Overly long or rambling exchanges can bog down the pacing of your story. Instead, focus on brevity and clarity. Example: too long. So, I was talking to Sarah the other day, and she mentioned that she saw this really great movie last weekend. I think it was called, what was it? Something with a dog? Anyway, she said it was amazing. Better: Sarah saw a great movie last weekend, something about a dog. 3. Give each character a unique voice. Characters should sound distinct from one another, reflecting their background, education, and personality. Pay attention to their vocabulary, speech patterns, and tone. Example: a professor might say, that hypothesis is intriguing but requires further substantiation. A teenager might say, that sounds cool, but do you have proof? 4. Use subtext. What characters say isn't always what they mean. Realistic dialogue often carries subtext, implied or unspoken meaning that adds depth to the conversation. Example: on the surface, I'm fine. Subtext: I'm upset, but I don't want to talk about it. 5. Avoid overusing exposition. Dialogue should not feel like an info dump. Avoid using characters to deliver large chunks of backstory or explain things the other character and reader would already know. Example: unrealistic. As you know, we've been best friends since elementary school, and you've always been there for me when I needed help. Better: you've always had my back. Techniques for writing great dialogue. Now that we've covered the principles, let's delve into some techniques to elevate your dialogue. 1. Listen to real conversations. Pay attention to how people talk in everyday life. Eavesdrop at coffee shops, watch movies, or listen to podcasts. Note the rhythm, interruptions, and idiomatic expressions. 2. Read aloud. Hearing your dialogue spoken out loud can help you catch awkward phrasing or unrealistic exchanges. If it sounds unnatural to you, it will likely sound unnatural to your readers. 3. Use dialogue tags wisely. Dialogue tags like said and it asked are essential for clarity, but overusing elaborate tags, exclaimed, interjected, murmured, can distract readers. Stick with simple tags and let the dialogue itself convey emotion. Example: overdone. I can't believe you did that, she screeched angrily. Better: I can't believe you did that, she said. 4. Show emotion through action. Instead of relying on dialogue tags or adverbs to show how a character feels, use action to convey emotion. Example, with an adverb, I don't want to talk about it, she said angrily. With action, she slammed the book shut. I don't want to talk about it. Common pitfalls to avoid. Even seasoned writers can fall into traps when writing dialogue. Here are some common mistakes and how to avoid them. 1. Forced humor. Humor should feel natural to the characters and the situation. Forced jokes or witty banter that doesn't align with the tone of the story can feel jarring. 2. Too many names. In real life, people rarely use each other's names in conversation. Avoid overloading your dialogue with unnecessary name usage. Example, unrealistic. John, do you think we should go now? I don't know. Sarah, what do you think? Better, do you think we should go now? I don't know. What do you think? Balancing dialogue and narrative. While dialogue is vital, it shouldn't dominate your novel. Balance it with narrative description, action, and internal monologue to create a well-rounded story. Consider the pacing and emotional weight of each scene when deciding how much dialogue to include. Examples of masterful dialogue. 1. Ernest Hemingway. Hemingway's dialogue is famously sparse, yet it carries weight and depth. In Hills Like White Elephants, the subtext of the conversation reveals more than the words themselves. 2. Jane Austen. Austen's dialogue captures the nuances of social dynamics and character relationships. In Pride and Prejudice, Elizabeth Bennet's exchanges with Mr. Darcy are sharp, revealing, and full of tension. 3. Elmore Leonard. Leonard's dialogue crackles with authenticity, reflecting the gritty, streetwise characters in his crime novels. He famously advised writers to leave out the parts that readers tend to skip, including unnecessary dialogue. Exercises to improve your dialogue writing. 1. Write a one-scene conversation. Pick 2 characters and write a scene where they argue about something mundane, e.g., what to have for dinner. Focus on creating distinct voices and subtext. 2. Rewrite a scene without dialogue tags. Strip out all dialogue tags and rely on the character's words and actions to convey meaning. 3. Record and transcribe. Record a real conversation, with permission, and transcribe it. Then, rewrite it as dialogue, condensing and refining it to suit a narrative. Final thoughts. Crafting realistic dialogue is a delicate blend of art and technique that plays a pivotal role in storytelling. It demands keen observation of how people interact in real life, imaginative thinking to adapt those interactions to your characters, and consistent practice to refine the nuances. When dialogue is natural, concise, and purposeful, it breathes life into your characters, making them feel authentic and relatable, while also driving the narrative forward in a compelling way. Dialogue is much more than mere words exchanged between characters on a page. It's a dynamic tool that reveals the hidden layers of personality, builds tension, and conveys the emotional heartbeat of a scene. Through carefully chosen words and subtext, it can create a sense of immediacy and intimacy, drawing readers deeper into the story and forging a connection with the characters. Mastering the art of dialogue takes time and effort, but it's a skill worth cultivating. By listening to real conversations, experimenting with different voices, and continually refining your writing, you'll develop a talent for crafting dialogue that resonates with readers, enhancing the depth and vibrancy of your storytelling. Keep observing, writing, and polishing, and soon, your dialogue will transform into one of the strongest elements of your craft. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and see you all in the next video.